Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining me today for this conversation around pods. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm joined today by Julie, who is a participant at one of our pod sites. Julie has been participating in a book club pod. So, Julie, I'm hoping you can tell me a little bit more about how you and your pod's peers chose to pursue a book club pod. Like, how did you pick that as your area of community participation?
Well, um, first was Isaac asking just in general for ideas.
Mhm.
And when they came up, I've been working on and wanting to read a little bit more.
Mhm.
And so when the idea for the reading pod came up, I was like, hey, I think I can do that one. And I have some transportation issues, but I was like, well, for the reading pod and the places that we thought we would go, it was like, yeah, mom can either sit beside us and read on her own, she can go off on her own,
Mhm.
do whatever. So I would actually have the transportation for that one
Mhm.
versus some of the others, which were a little bit harder to get to.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So you saw something that kind of fit a goal that you had for yourself personally, and then given the barrier of transportation, it also kind of fit that need for allowing you to get there easily and your ride could hang out in the area and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's perfect. So when you guys decided that this was something that you wanted to do, talk me through how you actually got started with doing it, right? So sometimes we can have ideas for things, but the follow through isn't always there, which is something I can totally relate to. So how did you guys actually follow through with that first meeting?
Well, we made it my the other person in the pod has his own transportation. And I was like, okay, why don't we meet at one and ended up turning into my end, his end in the middle
Hmm.
for the for some of the places we made it. But the first one was my end, the Belfont branch of the library. And we sort of just scheduled and said, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna each bring our own books. It's gonna be pretty chill there.
Hmm.
Um and we just sort of put it on the books, and both of us have our planners. I checked with mom, making sure my transportation was okay.
Hmm.
And when she said yeah, so we just sort of showed up. I let him know. Oh, and the Belfont library is on the smaller side, so it was easy to find him.
Hmm. Okay, great. So you guys
And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
now, go ahead.
So it sounds like you both figured out where you're located at, and you both did your own like schedule, like blocked it out on your calendars, and made sure the other person was still good to go, and then you picked your place and were able to find each other and everything like that.
Yep, we had forgotten to look at the library schedule, so it was filled with toddlers at first, but it still worked out. And I knew I was having new glasses coming, but I hadn't gotten them yet. And my cohort said, well, we're at a library. Why don't you go look in some of the large print sections?
Hmm.
I'm like, good idea. So I wandered off for a little bit, got my large print book, and then we just sort of sat and read, but we were just out in the community. Mom
Hmm.
sat nearby. Somebody else ended up coming and sitting nearby just to
Hmm.
read and get out of the way of the toddlers.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks for telling me about that. Yeah, sometimes like we don't like things happen that we don't expect, right? Like toddlers being at the library and glasses prescriptions not coming in. But it sounds like you guys found really good ways to work through that and still do what you wanted to do, and so that's fantastic. So great. Um, how often do you guys meet each other now to read in the community?
We were doing at least once, if not twice a month
Hmm.
over the summer, just because of summer schedules. We've sort of put a pause on it,
Mhm.
but I even have in my notes come like October, once mom's done with her siblings away trip,
Uh-huh.
that I'll contact um, my cohort, my friend, and say, "Hey, let's start up the pod again. Where do you
Mhm.
want to meet?"
Mhm.
And start doing that again.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, sometimes activities like are easier to do in certain seasons of the year. And I definitely understand why this type of activity is something that maybe is easier for some people to do in the off season that's not summer. So I think that makes perfect sense. So it's great that you guys are planning on redoing that come fall. Cool. So I know you mentioned the library. Are there any other places that you guys went to in the community to read?
Well, we went first to the library that I was closest to,
Mm-hmm.
and then to the library he was closest to.
Mm-hmm.
But we also met up there was a book sale
Mm-hmm.
going on the Penn State campus, and we visited. That was one of our stops. We chatted as we were looking for different books, seeing what in the world was there.
Mm-hmm.
And we also met up at Barnes and Noble
Nice.
to see, and we were encouraging each other with, okay, yeah, try this book, or okay, that book looks interesting. Maybe I'll try the library for it and like take a picture of the book so I know what I'm looking for.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. So you guys tried a couple of different libraries and you tried Barnes and Noble and you went also to Penn State for a book sale. That's awesome. Very cool. And I love your idea of like getting inspiration from the bookstore and then actually getting the book for the library. I do that all the time. I use the app Libby for like ebooks from my library, and sometimes I'll look at bookstores or Amazon and like see books that I want, and then I'll look it up on Libby to actually get it because then you don't have to pay for it. And so that's a great resource that you mentioned. So
Exactly. And actually, I'm really glad that I did that with one of the books because I started to get into it and I'm like, okay, this wasn't what I thought it was at all. Probably going to go back sooner rather than later.
yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good point too, because you don't always know if the book's really gonna be the vibe you wanted it to be. So okay, cool. So I'd like to ask you a little bit more about like what your experience was like when you were actually reading your book in the community, right? So I know you mentioned Barnes and Noble, you mentioned the library, but what was it like being in that space and reading your book?
It, for me personally, it was a little awkward at first. And then as I got into the book, it was okay. Or I'd like
Hmm.
look up, maybe like whisper to my friend, and we'd whisper back and forth for a little bit. And then we go back to the books.
Hmm.
So it was kind of neat. And we were each reading our own book
Hmm.
too. So like even afterwards, we were able to talk about, hey, this is what I'm learning from this one. What are you getting out of that one?
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So at first it felt a little awkward, maybe because you felt like people might have been looking at you or something like that. Is that why it felt a little awkward?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then I was like, okay, yeah, we're just here. We're regular members of the community. So,
Mhm.
and it helped when a person at the Belfont Library, when the person came over and she was looking for things and just decided to sit down and read with us,
Mhm.
having no clue what we were doing. It was just
Mhm.
joining in. That was kind of cool.
Mhm. Yeah, that is really cool. And I'm sure that felt like that just extra added sense of community too. So very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So has being in that pod changed any other aspect of your life since you've been doing it?
It's made me a little bit braver in
Mhm.
some ways. And I think it helped give me the confidence to even start the promotion process at my work. I'm now assistant manager at what's called Scraps and Skeins,
Mhm.
and some of that confidence was just from me being able to go out into the community,
Mhm.
do my own thing, and be like, okay, I can do this.
Mhm.
So why can't I do this at work too? Because Scraps and Skeins is very community oriented. That's how we get donations, is how we get our supplies that we sell. We
Mhm.
sell to the community. So it's having that, just that experience of, okay, yeah, I am a normal person. This is part of life,
Mhm.
gave me a little bit more confidence. And that's one of the reasons why, even like I said, I have notes in my calendar to
Mhm.
say in October, contact my friend about restarting this.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with me. Congratulations on the promotion. That's really exciting. And I think your point of realizing like you're capable of doing more than you might think you can, I think is huge. So thanks for sharing that. That's great. I also love again that you set a reminder on your calendar. Because um sometimes we can't always do the things that we want to do, but it doesn't mean that we can't go back to it later. Like sometimes we just have to put a little pause on it and then go back to it later, and that's just a normal part of the ebb and flow of our activity. So I love that strategy as well.
Yeah, and it's still given me the confidence to keep reading in the meantime.
Hmm.
Like I said, I had borrowed the one book. I know it's really big right now, but it's not for me. But I had other books. I'm like, okay, so into this and continuing to do the reading, which
Hmm.
is and has been a coping skill of mine.
Hmm.
So it helps to have the reading pod as just a reminder, hey, don't forget, keep doing this
Hmm.
coping skill to
Yeah.
help. And
Mhm. Yeah, it's like that accountability or that like extra
yeah,
reminder. And sometimes reading, I'm a big reader too, and sometimes reading's great, but sometimes it can be a little isolating too. And so if you find spaces in the community to read and people to do it with, then it adds that extra element of connection and support. So,
exactly.
okay, cool. Anything else that I haven't asked you about with your experience that you would like to share?
Uh, Not sure. I don't think, because like I said, like it's sort of just getting together. And like I said, we don't read the same books necessarily, so it's
Hmm.
not like a normal quote unquote book club.
Hmm.
But it doesn't mean that we don't ask each other about the books either.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if Isaac talked to you about this at all, but have you heard of silent book clubs?
He had mentioned that ours were sort of like a silent book club, but I hadn't heard of it until then. No.
Yeah, so I definitely encourage you to look it up. I'm in a silent book club myself, and it's a worldwide organization and they have locations all over. And it's just people who get together and read their own books in the community together. Typically, the first half an hour and the last half an hour of the meeting is just chatting and talking to each other about your books, and then there's an hour in the middle for you to read your own book. And so it sounds like you guys kind of did your own similar idea to that. So.
Yeah, without even realizing that that
Mhm.
was a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, Julie. I really appreciate you being willing to share your experiences with us.
No problem.